People. Que pasa, suck, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. News with a buzz. There was an incident that took place in Jamaica the other day, in Montego Bay to be specific, where a UK national came to Jamaica, him and the next person. He meets a friend that he knew from way back in the days at the porty. They went to some sorts of events in a Orcharius. When they came back, the friend that he picked up brought back to Mobile with him, and the friend that he flew into Jamaica with, that friend would eventually take him away. 12 pieces to the melon. His name is Shane Peterson, whatever. Now, people, when that thing went out, there was a video that was making its round on social media prior to this friend taking him away. However, I just received a next video maybe about a couple of hours ago, and this video shows when this man was taken out and he was laying on the ground, DEAD, like some sorts of mongrel in the streets. It was pretty bad. There were a couple of persons looking on. Then this one lady with some sorts of English accent, don't know if that's his friend or coincidentally somebody else from the UK was there. She was asking, do you have a sheet? She wanted to cover up that body. Now, people, the moral of the story to all of this is that this youth, based on all indications, he was dibbling and dabbling in all sorts of criminal activities. The cocoa, the tool, the takings. He was not an upright person. We understand nobody is perfect. And sometimes when you are young, you do stuff. You get carried away. It is like an avalanche. One thing leads to the next. Not justifying his action. However, based on what the father said, he was now a changed man. He had redeemed himself. There's a thing that is called karma. Karma is a thing that it strikes anytime. It could strike you whenever you are doing wrong. It could strike you if you was doing wrong and then you turn your life to a pastor, a preacher. You go from the devil to God. Not meaning that literally. It does not have any sorts of expiration date. It creeps upon you. It shocks and awes you when you least expect it. So therefore, whenever you do wrong, if you even stop the wrong and you start the right, don't tell yourself that all of your sins have been forgiven. You are now working with a clean slate. Even most importantly, don't tell yourself that your friends or enemies have forgotten what happened in the past. In the case of Mr. Sean, that is exactly what took place. Him do all we do, take all sorts of risks, go at the big yard, never end up at the graveyard. Soon as he allegedly stopped, that is when he lost his life. That was when he was most vulnerable. That was when the enemy decided to strike. They caught him slipping. They caught him off guard and they did him up real bad. Moral of the story is this. Karma will catch up to you sooner or later, whether you are good or bad. Point blank and period. Now the next thing that is popping in the news, it seems as if one of our top judges in Jamaica, there's all sorts of question signs on his name. Persons are wondering, persons are pondering. Is this man getting some sorts of bribe from these criminals in Jamaica? Is he a mold? Is he a part of the criminal network in Jamaica? Based on some of the decisions that he has been making. Based on some of the rulings that he has been making as it pertains to the one done, one order, high profile case in Jamaica. Those are the latest incidents. People are wonder if he might get paid. People are wonder if he does not see what is going on in Jamaica. Say Jamaica need to lock up these people and fling away the key. Make sure so them get life sentence, if not the DEATH penalty. However, it seems as if these people are beating the case on a regular basis based on some sorts of technicality, based on some sorts of sloppiness, based on some sorts of misconduct by either the prosecution or the investigators. Now the other day he raised a couple more eyebrows in some statement that he made in some sorts of graduation of some high profile judges. Them get some sorts of elevation, some sorts of promotion to the high courts. He said that, listen, do not listen to the noise in the streets, meaning these bloggers, all of these bloggers that act as if they are Harvard professor in a law, these pet detectives that put themselves out there as some sorts of law enforcement and judging experts. He said to these judges, do not listen to the noise. Do not make people determine what type of decision that you make. It is the court that makes the decision whether a person is guilty or not. This is not some sorts of commission where we are trying that person's past, that person's history. Whatever case is in the courts, we are trying that charge that that person is presently charged for. Not his criminal history, not nothing else that is not pertinent to that charge. If the prosecution wants more charges and the judge to make some sorts of determination through the jury, then them charge the person specifically. Mr. Sykes was saying that, listen, we are here to make a determination on that specific charge. Nothing else, nothing more. There are some more controversy out there as to what he said. And he was speaking specifically about persons that are labeled as crime producer. Again, he told the judges, do not listen to the noise. Do not listen to that term that was coined somewhere on social media about crime producer. So in other words, he was making it abundantly clear that it is only a jury trial, it is only a judge trial that can determine or put that title on somebody that is labeled as a crime producer if that person is convicted by either the jury or the judge. Take a listen to what the judge has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
Whether a crime has been committed, and it is a court which determines whether the person should be branded as a criminal at the end of the trial process, and assuming that there is a conviction. So we have a number of terms being used now, such as violence producers, or we don't know who those are. Is it defined? How do we get to these expressions? And the expectation seems to be that once a particular arm of the executive defines them as such, then that is to be accepted without question by the judiciary. Well, just to say that that has never been so and can't be so.
Now, people, here's the thing. We have to ask the question, If somebody goes by the book, if somebody goes by the rules and laws and the protocol, that makes somebody a criminal. Is that somebody a criminal based on what you've been hearing, all of the noise that you've been listening to? Is it because what this judge is saying conflicts with whatever you've been hearing, whoever you put your trust into? Is it because of the situation in Jamaica that we kind of get desperate? We want to see these criminals go. Is that what the judge is supposed to do? Vote on the court of public opinion, or is the judge supposed to go by the protocol? Is the judge supposed to put a higher standard on the investigations by the PWEH? Coordination, make sure that the PWEH, the investigators, and the prosecution, the DPP, are synchronized, making sure they are doing whatever they need to do to get a conviction? Or is it the common sense thing that because Jamaica is in a dire strait, desperate times calls for desperate measure, so therefore the judge supposed to throw out the book and pretty much convict any and everybody once they are labeled? Don't you think that innocent persons are going to get convicted? Are you okay with you being convicted? Are you okay with your family that is innocent being convicted? Or is it because this person, the judge, goes against your agenda, goes against what you've been hearing all along, and I jump up like frog and I say, yeah man, achoo. Let me know in the comment section. Now the next thing that is popping in the news, we are all an equal opportunity target. That means anybody can get it anytime, anywhere. It does not matter if a picnic, old people, woman, pregnant lady. Everybody can get it. I am speaking about an incident that occurred in a place called Broadgate. Broadgate is in the parish of St. Mary, where it is said that a 72-year-old businessman, his name is Delaville Banbury. Based on the information, it is said that a motorist, he was traveling in his vehicle when he saw a silver Pro Box pull up beside a next vehicle and start blaze up all sorts of corn upon that vehicle. The driver of that vehicle, he would lose control. He would fly over in some sorts of precipice. Needless to say, that concerned citizen, responsible citizen, contacted the PWEH, called the PWEH. When the PWEH come on the scene, the PWEH saw the vehicle in the ditch, in the precipice, called the fire brigade. Fire brigade come, pull out the vehicle. When them inspect the person in the vehicle, this man was a 72-year-old businessman, Mr. Banbury, like I said. The PWEH noticed that this man had X amount of holes in his upper body, in his head, that pretty much was detrimental to his health. He was taken to the R0BB3RY hospital. However, too late was the call. His injuries were too bad. Based on what the PWEH said, when they searched the car, searched his personal, they realized that he had an undetermined amount of cash. Now, based on the PWEH report, it is said that that undetermined amount of cash was actually 7.2 million Jamaican dollars. Remember, I told you that them pipe up the vehicle and the vehicle jump and go in some sorts of ditch. Them call the fire brigade. I guess when the fire brigade came and they pulled up that vehicle and the PWEH did a proper search, they realized that it was 7.2 million according to their count. So people, not to go away from the topic, but do you think that it was more than the $7.2 million? Did the Popo get a chance to take any of this money? The only people that know is the Popo and probably the fire brigade. However, the good thing is that at least they did not get the money. Now what this tells us when we hear stuff like this is that more than likely this was done by some sorts of trusted employee. Some sorts of inside link gave somebody the information. They were probably in that vehicle waiting for the man to leave. When them start pipe up the vehicle, to stop the vehicle, when they realize that somebody or the traffic was kind of heavy that time of the day, them decide say it is not worth the risk. We try to run to the vehicle because the vehicle flying at some sorts of ditch. So therefore they aborted the mission. People, what this tells you, whenever you are successful in Jamaica, you are a target. You are automatically placed on that endangered species list by default. So in other words, people that don't put in the hard work and dedication, they've decided that they want to watch you pre out your pocket, pre out your business, and then they become red eye, they become covetous. So therefore, they want to take what you work hard for. They do not think about the domino effect that when you take this person for their money, you are also taking them away from their family, taking them away from the structure that their friends and family are used to. Them have mother, them have picnic, them have wife, them have matey. However, for your own selfish gain, you would rather for that person to lose his life so that you can pay your bills. People, this was an attempted robbery that went wrong. This was somebody in the inside more than likely that is responsible for this. So people, what do? You've heard the Popo said on several occasions, get the Popo for carry you, go drop off your money. Get some sorts of armed security, reputable armed security, and drop off your money. Don't try to be penny wise and pound foolish. The money that you're going to save paying security, you are going to lose eventually. So therefore, don't be penny wise and pound foolish like me say. Again, people, this is tragic, tragic, tragic. Another day in the life of Jamaica. Normal, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. I understand that this might be your grandma's favorite channel. However, this is not your run-of-the-mill mama and papa channel. This is news with a buzz. If you appreciate videos just like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Point blank and period.